Hi everyone, today we're in Cerner 223 and this video is going to demonstrate for you how to write an individual progress note that is from a scheduled service. I think that you're going to find that many of the steps that I'm walking you through are what you're accustomed to doing. The most notable changes are going to be in how the progress note looks once we open it up. So my first step is to click on my Scheduled Services tab. And as you can see, we have a pretend service scheduled for our pretend client, Bruce Wayne. I'm going to start by right-clicking on his name. I'm going to select Progress Note this scheduled service, and it gives me the option to select Individual Progress Note. And this is what the new note looks like. You can resize your window the traditional way, or Cerner has recently discovered the Maximize button that is in the upper right-hand corner. And I think that the easiest way to go about writing this note is to go from top to bottom. I like to start in this left-hand panel that is current client information. It gives very basic information on the client, their name, client ID, if they have any allergies, gender, date of birth, and how old they are. So the first step that the system wants me to take is to tell it which treatment plan that this note is going to be attached to. And I do this by clicking on the green plus sign. And as you can see, Bruce Wayne is enrolled in a couple of different programs. Today, I'm going to pretend that I'm doing an individual session at the DRP. He also has a residential admission note because I have him enrolled at the CR as well. But again, we're doing an individual session at the DRP, so I'm going to select CD treatment plan. As you can see, it pulls forward his individual intervention, and this is because I selected that I'm doing an individual progress note. If I click next to this individual therapy, a green check mark appears, and it pulls forward any objectives in the treatment plan that have a 204 attached. So I'm going to select an objective that we're working on today. By clicking next to the objective, you'll see that that green check mark appears. If I had not selected an objective, when I went to final approve my progress note, it would tell me that the service was unplanned. I'm going to click save, and it shows that this is the objective that I'm working on for the session today. So it looks like I can't type in my client narrative panel. However, I'm going to click on client narrative. You can see that there's a red exclamation mark that's telling me that this narrative must be individualized prior to final approval. So I'm actually going to double click on this gray bar. And as you can see, my client narrative panel actually turns orange, and this is telling me that I can type now. If your program requires the use of a standardized text, we're going to click on the standard menu, which is actually a little notepad, and it's going to give me all the options for standardized text that are in the system. Today I'm going to select Oasis Progress Note, and now I'm going to type my narrative. I'm going to click save. And now we're going to move on to the signatures panel. There's actually two different tabs within this panel. There's the pending signatures that shows the 3 lines that you're used to seeing. One for the staff. The other 2 are there for if you have to send your notes to your supervisor, a billing staff, or a QI staff. The other tab is the My Signatures tab that is actually going to show the signature of the staff member that signed the note. And in order to sign my note, I'm actually going to right-click on the first line and click Electronically Sign. One of the nice features about the new version is that the system actually knows who is logged in, so you don't have to put your password in. If you do have to send your note to someone, you would right-click and click Assign Signatory, and you would be able to select a staff member to send the note to. If you do not have to send your notes to anyone, you can right-click on the signature lines that aren't being used and delete them. And if you click on My Signatures, in order to be in one, you have to click off the other. You'll see, though, in My Signatures, it's showing the staff member that signed the note. The next step is to move on to our service information. Now, this information was already put in because it was a scheduled service, so it is blue. However, if you watch the previous video on an individual session that is not from a scheduled service, you'll know that when there's no information here, that this bar is red. So today all the information is there, and it's telling me that this note is ready to be final approved. However, if I had to change something, perhaps the client was a no-show or I met with them at a different time, I could still double-click on the encounter or the blue bar, and it would pull forward all of the information that was in Scheduler, but I could change my appointment type if I had to, and I could also change the time by clicking on the 204 intervention, and I could zero out my time. It's going to tell me that my duration is 0 and it wants to make sure that I really want to continue. So we'll pretend that our client was a no-show, and I'll click yes. And then I can click save. And your note is ready to be final approved. And if I go into Bruce Wayne's chart by right-clicking on his name and clicking Client Panel, I can see that the note has been added to his chart. If I want to look at this note, I would double-click on it. And now my service information or my encounter information is green because that's telling me that the service has been posted. And we're all done.